Welcome back to Career Podcasters.
1, 2, 3, go!
We used to have a soccer coach. She used to always tell us, like, what is potential? And everyone would go like, potential is nothing. Like, because the whole point was, hear us out, all right?
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of fucking sense.
So when someone tells you you have potential,
they're not complimenting you.
No.
Like, it's not a compliment.
no, normally you would take it as like,
They said it in that Patrice O'Neal documentary.
Yes, they did.
Where it's like, who was the comedian that gave him that compliment? Where it's like, someone tells you have potential, it means you're not there yet. No one ever said that to Patrice. Like, that he had transcended potential. He had it.
Exactly. It was like a little comic too.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what it is. It's just that potential means you haven't done it yet. And that means whatever you're doing, you're not reaching your limits.
Yeah.
If someone tells you you've pushed yourself to the limits, you're the best version of yourself you're going to be, that's a real compliment.
When you've pushed your car to the absolute limit.
But exactly. So like when someone tells you you have potential, it's more of a diss saying like, oh, you could get to level 100, but you're at 50 because whatever you're doing sucks.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And even if your limit is 60, if you're at 60, that's more respectable.
Yeah.
So if someone's telling you you have potential, it's like, oh, you could be good. You just don't try hard enough, or you don't have good work ethic, or whatever it is. So that's like a true.
Do you think people
diss.
are ever honest when that potential doesn't exist because the person's just not good at what they maybe think they had? So like maybe like falsely realized potential, if that makes sense.
Yes, I'm not someone
as a phrase.
I don't
because I don't want to tell anybody that they can't ever work towards anything like that.
No.
But at the same time, like there is a certain section that you see like in media and stuff like that of people who are delusional in a bad way, where it's not like they're working towards it. It's almost like they think they've already made it.
Yes.
Like, have you ever seen that? Like, have you ever?
It's like Aaron Carter. It's like he has like face tats now and thinks he's still the best.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think it's like
100%.
you're just born with it or not. I think anyone could do anything if they really work hard for it.
So just because potential means nothing, it's not a bad thing, right?
The whole point of I think the whole potential is kind of a diss is saying you already have the talents, right?
Yeah.
So let's say sports, right? You're a soccer player, which is in the case we were. If you had no skills, it means you're at your peak, not at your peak, but you're pushing yourself to your hardest, which means you'll just steadily incline. If you're someone with natural skill who doesn't try, it's like, yo, you could be here tomorrow if you wanted to be, and then keep climbing from there.
We saw so many guys with so much potential out there that just you see it almost in you see it
every
pros
day
too.
You see it every day.
Pros too. If you're talking the sports, we were talking potential in music, but I feel like that's another cutthroat industry, if you will.
They all are.
It's
Everything
industrial,
is.
yeah.
And like I won't say. I think the issue is from a fan perspective.
People are less inclined to.
As a fan, we want everyone to push it the hardest, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, we had a friend who was very talented at sports and decided not to play in college, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, dude, what a waste of potential. You were going to be so good at sports, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But they didn't like soccer that much and they wanted to become a doctor. Our goals for them are not their goals for them, you know? So you can't assume everyone wants to do what you want them to do.
Yeah. 100%.
So imagine, let's say you're Neymar, one of the greatest soccer players in the world, but your goal isn't to become the greatest soccer player ever. Your goal is just to make a bunch of money, have fun, and relax.
Like, invest in the business afterwards and retire nicely.
You just want to be rich and famous and happy.
Yeah.
Which I think being happy is the true goal, right?
Yeah.
So why would he burn every day, every last bit of him to train and go hard when he could just like push it like 75%, still be top 10 in the world and go to the club after the game? If I was in that position,
so do you think
I don't know
makes you less inclined to maybe
natural talent? Yeah. When things come easy to you, you don't have to work that hard.
Yeah.
You need a good balance. Like if everything came easy to you, you'd have no work ethic. And at a certain point, you reach that level where like this is what you were given, what you had already, and you can't go past it.
Yeah.
The most successful people to me have quote unquote natural talent, good potential, and also good work ethic, right? Someone like Michael Jordan, who super skilled, had a good body size for the NBA, right? Not anything crazy. He's not 7 feet tall, but like
on par.
Yeah, he's not a. I think Michael Jordan was 6'6".
6'6".
I want to say
That's pretty tall.
he's shooting guard, small forward, right? Still like had those things ready, But he also was doubted upon the whole thing. Like, he didn't make his varsity basketball team originally, blah, blah, blah. And so he had that chip on his shoulder that pushed him to that next level. And I actually argue that work ethic and that want is stronger than the natural talent. You can say the same thing about Tom Brady, the greatest football player ever, probably.
So does someone who's working hard ever have potential, or are they just going to make it no matter what? Because no, it's like no one will ever tell them that they have potential because everyone can see you're working hard enough at it. It'll happen.
I guess what I'm saying is, so there's like a potential of like what
I feel like there are people who work that hard and still fail. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that I want to kill anybody's dream. I'm just saying it does exist where it happens, where people like work really, really hard or something. Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm not even as a diss. It doesn't work out. Sometimes life doesn't work that way.
I think for certain things, there's a minimum to it. If you want to be in the NBA and you're 5 feet tall, it's not going to happen. But there are players in the NBA who are shorter than me. Yeah. There's Isaiah Thomas was in the NBA, like won a playoff series, star of his team, because he worked that hard. So I think it's very rare. With stuff like sports, there's physical limitations, but if it's like a job or music, if you work hard enough at it, you will do it. I think it's silly to think that like you just you weren't born with it, like you just can't do it. And there are people who it's like they always joke because everyone wants to be a rapper now. It's like you should tell your friends they're bad at rapping. Yeah. But if they really love it and they work at it for 20 years, I bet they could carve out some sort of career. Now they might not have the potential to be the greatest, so only the best have both. Yeah. If you want to be the best, you must like have the natural potential and skill and work hard. Yeah. But if you have one or the other, you can make it pretty far. Yeah. Example of great people who go super far off natural, raw athletic ability can go all the way to the NBA. And people who don't have that and just work fucking hard, like Isaiah Thomas, can also go to the NBA. You're not going to be MVP of the league unless you have both, unless you're LeBron. But you can still make a decent career out of it, right? Yeah. Let's say definitely. You're not a genius at math, but if you study math and engineering for 20 years, you could still be an engineer. You can still have a great job. Yeah. You might not be a NASA rocket scientist, but you could do some great stuff.
Yeah. So maybe like sometimes, do you think realizing your potential is realizing what you can do to make it? Like, because not everybody needs to be, even almost potential aside. So actually, fuck that part. Like, do you think like it's just as good from like, do you think the product is going to be just as good from the people who are like mad talented but don't have that work ethic combined, right? Like aren't at that next level? Sure. Do you think that's like attractive like to some people and that's all they really want to do? Like they know they're that good, so they want to maybe put their time towards, if they're really good at music and they know they can make some money off of it, maybe ghostwrite a little bit. Sure. And then like play video games and stuff. Do you think they're like unknown, like not try stuff ever has the chance of breaking through to being like, wow, they accidentally made like the greatest shit I've ever heard?
So you're saying people with all the natural skill potential, but no work ethic? Yeah. It happens. Yeah. But actually, typically it's because of the team around them. I actually think about this a lot of times, even with us. I think you're a really great natural speaker. You've always been a storyteller, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I do more of the put it all together, put it in a box, tie it with a bow, and send it out. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
You make my long rant sentences really.
It's not a one-person thing, right? Let's say LeBron was a natural skill. Someone had to teach him how to play basketball. He had to have a coach. Yeah. He had to have mentors, right? Maybe not everyone, but no one just gets it. You know what I mean? Fully. So it's not an individual thing. People think that with like artists. If you're an amazing singer, but you can't write lyrics, get someone to write the lyrics for you. Get someone to make the beat. Yeah. It's a team. I think it's silly to think it's an individual thing. It's always a team. Yeah. And people with raw natural talent need to be cultivated and worked on by those around them if they are willing and wanting to do that thing.
It's always going to be teamwork makes the dream work in any industry. It's crazy. Yeah. There's no one person that makes it completely by themselves in this world.
No. I don't think so.
Which is funny because I think it became like a bragging thing and like came up on my own, motherfucker. Nah, you probably didn't 100% by yourself.
And probably some people do it more than others.
Some people do. I'd say like, honestly, we were hating on him the other night, but like J. Cole's getting pretty established. He did it on his own for the most part.
We don't know that though.
We don't. Yeah.
For example, he doesn't produce beats. We don't know.
He did for his early shit.
He might make some beats. He doesn't make all of his beats. He doesn't mix and master all of his own songs. Probably not. I really doubt it. I really doubt it. He's signed to a label. Does he do the ads? Does he put up the billboards? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a team. There's always a team. There's always people behind the scenes. Even Comedians are someone who you think of like they go on their own, they write their jokes and they do their specials. Some of them, yes, but a lot of them have writing partners. They have friends they bounce things off of.
Yeah.
They like someone like, let's say, Bill Burr, great comedian, tells stories about his wife. His wife is his inspiration in a lot of ways. Without her, there's no him.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem as direct as like she does the taxes or something like that, but she's a part of the equation. I don't think it's ever just one thing. But when it comes to people with like skill like that, they need to have the right things in place to excel.
Yeah.
Some people do have both, where they have the vision, they have the work ethic, and they also know, hey, I'm pretty good at this already. I'm gonna hone in. But a lot of times they need someone to tell them and then help them.
I would like,
And so they can focus on the art.
Feldman always, like, after he would give us those talks of potentially, he always then tell me.
This is our soccer coach.
Yeah. He would tell me that I had a lot of unrealized potential.
For sure.
Because he was good at reading that kind of thing.
Yes.
Like,
Some people are better than others.
Early, yeah. Where it's like, he was arguing overall that it was nothing, but like there are some people that like have their unrealized potential, which is definitely worse than having it realized, because like you're almost wandering through and you can just never put the puzzle piece together.
That's it.
I'm still kind of like that, and in some ways, for sure.
Everyone is.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty accurate. I think that's a different thing, the unrealized versus realized potential. If you know you have the potential and you don't take it, you're a dumbass.
But if you kind of don't realize it, you're probably a dumbass in other ways
as
right?
well. But it also just might mean you need the right push, you need the right support system, right?
Yeah. Or someone to just uncover something for you.
Yes.
Maybe. Just
or
like
do the other work, right? If like your greatest skill was to play soccer, you needed the right coaches and the right teams to get scouts to watch your videos and stuff like that. Like I would have never considered playing sports in college ever. I didn't think I was that good to at all. But since I had Feldman, he's like, I'm gonna have these scouts come, I'm gonna do all this. Without me even knowing, he put me in a position to do so.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, what, like, how did this happen? Why I could go here and play soccer? Like, no way. And I didn't, because that's not what I wanted to do, but he saw the potential and he built everything around it before I even knew, like literally had no clue. And then after the game, he's like, oh, this is the coach of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? Like me, you know, like not on that grand of a level, but even that is something like I would have never considered.
And he was so special because he also, these lessons transcended soccer always. Transcended sports. Because
it's not just for sports.
He was blunt always, and I appreciate the bluntness. I'd be like, coach, because like I'm the type of person that like I have big dreams that I'm like, man, that'd be cool, but man, all that work to do it would suck. So I'm just gonna probably sit back and just like see where other things go. Maybe something else like the work will seem as cool as well, for a lot of stuff. But he would always be very blunt with me and tell me that you're not gonna play sports in college. You're not gonna be there, but these lessons from what you're learning on the field and stuff like that can be, and the things that I'm saying to you can be applied elsewhere.
Totally.
You know, not just
in the
realm of sports.
I think something for you, I would say your earlier potential was music for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
And if you had the right band members or the right instructor, the right teacher, the right guy setting up shows, that could have totally been your thing. And you could have been doing that forever.
It was.
If you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just saying it applies to that as well.
My guitar teacher was awesome. He was really, really, really good at what he did. Really good at inspiring, great at setting up shows for us and stuff like that. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was one of those things where I was like, oh yeah, I'm, pretty good at this, so I don't really want to pursue it or work too hard at it or whatever it was. And when the sports came along in high school, I was just like, this is something like new that I have no idea what I'm doing, and I kind of want to just try it and pick it up. And that's how I ended up kind of dropping music towards the latter half.
Because it was maybe too easy for you. We had band
early
class together.
Yeah, but now I go back and try and play with the people who kept with it, and I'm so far behind where I'm like, this is actually really hard now. But I didn't hone in on the skill.
I remember being in band with you, and it was a joke. Like, everyone's playing, right? We're playing the song. And then we're like, all right, we're playing this song. We're going through all the songs, playing them. Everyone's fucking up. And I look over at Matt, and he doesn't even have the book out in front of him. Never has read the music ever. Played the whole fucking show, and was just fucking around on his phone the whole time, right? Maybe watching soccer videos because it was too easy for you. And not saying our teacher didn't help you in that way, but the people around you weren't at that level. You weren't in the right space to cultivate that. If the teacher was like, nah, you're so good. I want you doing this and pushing you and pushing you. It was just like, it was what you were asked to do was so easy that you never got a challenge. You needed to be challenged.
I could have too, but I also never wanted to get that challenge too much. I think it was always too something about knowing that people were. This is gonna sound so bitchy, but I really think it's the truth. Like, I really think it's the honest truth of like. I think I always just recognized that there were next levels to the guitar and to playing music where, that bass level stuff, I didn't need the book. If I was playing the second guitar part, if I was playing rhythm guitar.
You're sitting next to me who just picked up the instrument like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And you can just go like, like behind your head, like it's nothing. Of course you're not going to try.
Yeah. So like the guitar,
I barely
the guitar
tried.
one part I'd have to try for, and I never wanted to. I don't know why, because like you said, I was one of those guys, like how you called out earlier with music, like where it's like I was the idiot in the other sense of that like realm of potential, because I could have had the guitar part one, the guitar one part, the guitar one part the next day if I put 4 hours into it.
Oh, easy.
But so, like I never wanted to put that 4 hours in.
That would be an example of someone telling you have potential and shitting on you. Like, man, you have a lot of potential at the guitar.
Yeah.
And you just haven't fully jumped on it, and that's okay because that's not what you wanted to do.
I didn't. I don't think I don't think pursuing music would have been fine for me.
I think that's the bigger thing is like people always look like, oh, you could have done this, you're really good at this. My parents are always like, oh, you're really good at this, pursue this. I always liked working with people and talking, more soft skills, more of the social sciences. But in school, I never took like the AP English classes or stuff like that. Like I was more into math and science is what I naturally did better in. But then when I went to school, I went away from that because it's not what I liked.
Yeah.
And that's fine too. Like it's more about happiness than like being successful in what you're naturally gifted at. But if it happens to be both, then boom, that's the magic. And I think that's finding that because no one's just good at one thing. Yeah. You're good at music. You're good at talking. You're good at comedy. You're good at sports. Which one of the many things you're good at is your favorite and then you actually enjoy, go into that.
Yeah.
And if it's none of those, you can still work really hard at something you're not naturally good at and be fine. You know? Like I could have pulled something random, right? Like if I wanted to right now become a musician, just like a studio musician, I could do it. I just had to start right now and work super hard. I probably could do it. It'd take a long ass time, years, but I could do it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm not going to become Jimi Hendrix ever, no.
Yeah,
but I could have a job.
You can play backyard shows. You can get hired at bars.
And if I love that, then dope. Like that's what really matters is your happiness. And I think people look at success in a way that is different than that. People don't think success is happiness because a lot of people grew up in an era where it didn't matter if you were happy. You needed to eat. You got to make money to live. And we're lucky enough where we can choose things that make us happy and also, you know, hopefully make enough money to get by.
Yeah.
So since we do have the opportunity, we don't have to just stick to what we're best at. We could do anything.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But it's a tough choice, you know?
Mm-hmm. So do you find it easy to like, how do you go about like figuring out what you want to do? You know what I mean? How you want to spend your time, how you want to, because if you potential is nothing, and I'm even kind of bringing that to the next level after this conversation of like the next thought of maybe potential doesn't even matter, like, you know what I mean? Maybe it's
in a way,
maybe it's just whatever makes you happy. But how you personally, personal question, how do you go about like finding what you want to do? Because I find that to be one of the hardest parts of my life, and I feel like people struggle with that for a long time, you know, and the jobs at some point maybe even become a distraction, you know what I mean? To like, you know, fill the time, and then when they retire, they're like, shit, what am I going to do now? And that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes people find their thing later afterwards.
All the time.
Yeah, it's not, I'm not shitting on any one way to do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like, how do you go about like choosing how you want to spend your time right now?
Well, first thing there that I think you kind of mentioned is you talked about work. I don't actually look at my job as something that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I've never gone to school and college and studied to do a job that makes me happy, honestly. I went to school for a career that I wouldn't hate and that would make me a lot of money. And then the things I love to do, I do on my own time.
Yeah.
Because the things I love to do don't necessarily pay. it's hard to find out what you love, but it's truly like, if you could do anything right now, what would you do? If you're just sitting on your couch and you could do anything, what gives you energy?
I saw a great quote from Bourdain today on my Instagram on like this.
I saw that.
Yeah, of course I put it on the story, bro. Sometimes I got to spread the words that I think are important.
Yeah.
When I put something on Instagram, it changes people's minds. So,
yeah, sure. That's right. I changed the world. Hey, maybe one day.
Love the callbacks. I think that is really a true thing though, because like he was talking about.
What's the quote?
The quote was basically like, there's a guy inside of him that he knows just wants to sit around and be a lazy piece of shit all day long, and his entire life has become trying to outwit that guy that lives within him.
It's like I could sit and smoke weed all day, and that's my happiness, and I fight that guy every day to be successful.
Yeah.
Totally, right? But is that really what makes you happy?
Me personally, no. But
I'm just saying, maybe it does for him. I think that's more of like the addict inside of him, right?
Yeah.
That's the disease in him a little bit. But you have to look past those things of what truly makes you happy. Because I agree, it'd be nice to just smoke weed and lay it around all day.
Yeah.
But I did that for years and eventually got old. You know?
Yeah.
So it's what can you do forever? For me, my number one thing is just hanging out with my friends. I love being with people.
Yeah.
I love banter. I love conversation.
Restaurants, going to a good meal, getting a nice dinner.
Anything. I just like hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
And that's super simple, but that doesn't pay the bills.
No.
And I've always known that doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, what's a job I can do where I work with people who are like-minded, that I enjoy. I interact with humans a lot, which is what I like, but also makes me money.
Yeah.
Right. And so I could have done, at first I thought like psychology. I help people. I'm talking with them one-on-one. That's a good one. But a psychology undergrad, I also have my parents in me, like, you got to make money too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't, at least from my perspective, you can't just do what makes you happy. You also need to make money to support yourself and support your family. It's a balance.
It's the right way to go.
Right?
Yeah.
So I went, okay, I'll do business. Business, you work with people, you talk, blah, blah, blah. But it's also by the numbers, a better undergraduate degree, because you'll make more money straight out the gate. Right? Of course, if you love psychology, you go to grad school, you get a master's, you become a doctor of it. You're going to make way more money than anyone with a bachelor's undergrad.
Yeah.
But I was like, I could do that too. So I went, what undergrad degree will get me the most money? And then I can still follow what I love after.
Yeah.
So I got the business degree. And if I want to still do psychology, I can go to master's and get a psychology degrrie.
Yeah.
But that wasn't what I loved to do.
I think there's always different paths to an ultimate goal.
Yes,
like there's always my
a million
would always tell me the story of a family member of his that is a lawyer by day and just goes to rock venues at night and just shreds on a guitar, and that's what he really loves to do. He makes a lot of money being a lawyer and cashes out on just studio equipment, has a really nice in-home studio, and is listened to by maybe 50 to 100 people a night, but like
loves it.
Yeah. That's what
matters.
He fuels it by doing the
whatever job.
Whatever job.
If you can find both, that's great, but it doesn't always have to be that way.
Yeah.
And for example, my dream for a while was I wanted to throw concerts. I wanted to have a venue and throw shows and be an organizer for concerts and events. That felt like a dream to me. Like, that'd be so cool to do that. I put on this show. I got all these artists here. All these people came in. And it wasn't like I want to throw Rolling Loud or the biggest concert. I want to show an underground warehouse show where 50 people show up to hear this new artist that I'm going to put on for them. And it wasn't about making money. It's just, I want to do this. Like, that's a dream of mine. Still is. But I knew I need to fuel that with capital. I always knew that whatever my job for probably like my first 10 years is just to make money. What will make me the most money in 10 years so then I can take that money and do with it what I love.
Yeah.
And then hopefully what I love then becomes the full job. I never thought the degree I get, the job I get right out of college, I'm going to just do that for 40 years. To me, that was a joke. Like, there's no way I'm going to just stick with that. If you find what you love like that, amazing. But I just never felt that way. I'm always going to change.
Yeah.
I'll never think I'll hold the same position for my whole life. I'm not going to be like, I love accounting, I'm just going to be an accountant forever. If you do, amazing, lucky you. But like, I almost considered becoming an accountant because I knew it would pay the bills for a while.
Yeah.
And then I could just do whatever I want after.
Yeah.
But it was...
Or you become really comfortable and just...
True.
go with it
True,
too,
but
which isn't bad sometimes. And
I agree.
I don't know, because I think sometimes that happens.
Life gets in the way. Life gets in the way
in this country. Yeah.
Well, imagine you're an accountant, you make a bunch of money, and then you have a family and you have kids, and you need to support them, or something else happens.
Shit on credit that you need to pay off, so you need to keep that good paying job and work harder and more to continue buying those nice things.
But if
do you consider yourself materialistic, born an American? Like, do you value like making enough money to have all the cool material shit that you want, or do you want enough so that you have a roof over your head, food on the table, and you can, like you said, hang out with your friends?
Yeah, I don't think I'm.
In your most honest thought.
I try not to be douchey, but I really don't feel very materialistic. Okay. I like video games, so I need to have a good computer and like an Xbox or whatever, right? But there's very few things I buy. I have money right now. I could buy a lot of things. I could buy nice clothes.
Yeah.
I could live in a better house than this.
Yeah.
But I don't because I don't feel the need.
Yeah.
Really.
That's so smart of you too. It's the best way to be. Like, I'm making no money right now, and it's all going towards like, this is what I can cope with. I've been bad in my life. When I was working at the burger joint,
you're a spender.
I'm a spender, man. Yeah, I'm hardcore.
Yeah,
it gets tough sometimes, dude.
I remember thinking, I was like, I don't know how Matt's gonna be broke, because you've always had a job for the longest time where you've made a lot of money.
I've been doing well. Yeah, actually, I think I've been doing okay.
It's gonna teach you a lot.
It's been teaching me quite a bit.
Yeah.
And you're teaching me slowly as well.
It's funny, we're flipped for the first time ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's why I'm the same way, where like, I sacrifice a lot of little things. I don't have to eat nice food every day. I can eat the cheapest shit for most of my days.
Yeah.
But then that's because when I go out with my friends, I can afford the nice dinner to go out with my friends.
Yeah.
Because for a while I couldn't do that. And I remember having to skip going out to the bar, skip going out to dinner with my friends. And I was like, that's what I really love.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about eating on a Tuesday after work.
Yeah.
Right. I care about getting a drink with my friends afterwards. And so I was like, I'll sacrifice the tacos after Tuesday when I feel like shit so that I can do what I really like. You know,
Gotcha.
It's lucky that what I really like doesn't really necessarily cost that much money. But yeah, it was just like,
I spent a lot of my money on food. I would do it multiple times, whether I had it or not. Like, it was sometimes
that's something you like.
Sometimes
that's something you like.
Yeah. But sometimes you even have to sacrifice things you like. Like, there were times where it was excessive with me. Like, I would also not consider myself. I'm a spender who I'd say I'm materialistic, but not excessively. I would say I definitely like,
I wouldn't say you're materialistic,
but I'm a spender.
You're a spender.
I'm a spender for sure. And like, sometimes if it's like clothing, like if I see clothing that I'm like, fuck, I want that. And I think I can rock that.
Yeah. I
haven't now, like I said, because I'm only making X amount of money and it pretty much pays for my necessities, and that's it. It's been good. It's been good for me.
You realize you don't need it.
You realize quickly you don't need it. Yeah.
I did that.
And I've also been getting help too, which is nice. Like, it's not like I'm even paying for all the necessities until hopefully I'm working a service gig right now. So it's like very interesting.
Help the community.
The way the pay grade goes. So I have some good people in my life helping me make the journey. But
it's just for me, it's just that, like, I don't know, what makes me happy is not necessarily material things. I don't really care about dressing super nice or anything like that.
Yeah.
I buy some clothes sometimes. When I first got money, when I was a freshman in college, I was working a job and doing some not so legal side gigs on the side to make me some cash. I was like, okay, I can buy shit.
Selling grilled cheese sandwiches, right? You had that underground grilled cheese shop?
Yes. My pop-up grilled cheese shop in the middle of the dorm.
Yeah, that was dope, man. I heard you made the best grilled cheeses in town.
Fake ID, greatest investment I've ever made. Anyway, but I was like, oh, I got money now, and I would like shop online and shit and order these clothes and then never wear them.
Yeah.
Because like, I just don't really, that's not me. You know what I mean? And then I realized, like, what's the point? And so if it's something I really like, I will, but I can't remember the last time I really bought something big. The last big purchase I made was I bought a computer, and because I really like playing video games and I like interacting with my friends online, especially quarantine, and my laptop was shit. But I still didn't even buy
laptops are.
I didn't even buy the nicest one or anything. I didn't super cash out, but like, I got something nice for sure. And it was weird to be like, oh, I'm really going to buy this. But it's also ingrained in me. Like, my mom tells me, she's like, doesn't that make you feel bad that you dropped $1,000 on a computer? Like, doesn't it hit you in your heart? I was like, no, because I really like it. She's like, if I spend any more than like $100, hurts my
Yeah,
insides.
she got the hustler deep.
Yes, deep in her,
rooted,
and
yeah.
it's in me a bit, but I know I've been able to differentiate what I really
It's
like.
such. I think it's such the better way to be though, because like to an extent. So like here's where I would never do it, right?
I know what you mean.
I think that's the way to be with material goods, not the way to be with experiences. You know, like if you're gonna go see your favorite artist and tickets cost $500, I'd say that's more worth it than like the $500 jacket.
There's a line.
You know what I mean?
That's my thing. Is like if
Food.
she
Food's
said
a big one
if she
for
said
me.
the same thing to me when we were traveling somewhere,
Yeah.
I'd be like, nah,
No, it
we're
doesn't
doing
hurt
it
at all. Yeah.
right. Like,
oh my god,
experience.
yeah.
But that happens as well.
Yeah.
There's a happy medium, and it's
Yeah.
funny because my mom's that way where it's save, and like those lessons have helped me so much for sure.
Yeah.
And my dad's more of the like, come on, live a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
we're here. You should do this. You'd regret it if you didn't.
Yeah.
You'll get the money back. Money comes and goes, you know? But you really do have to have a balance. And I'm lucky to have been influenced in that way, but I'm still finding that line.
Yeah.
I still buy stupid shirts. I bought this stupid Young Thug shirt one time where it said something on it just like, if cops pull up, I put that crack in my crack, or I put that brick in my brack. It's just like him with like money on it. Never wore the shirt. And I was high one day and thought it was funny. You know what I mean?
So you put Cop the Thugger shirt?
Yes. Never worn it. It's sitting in my closet at home. I don't even have it here.
That's
it's in my parents'
hilarious.
house.
Please bring it back next time.
I
you
should
can.
wear it sometime.
Yeah.
I was just showing.
Honestly, I'll ask to borrow it a bit. I'll wear it too.
It's a funny shirt.
It's a great shirt.
But
Come on,
it was
thug.
just one of those things where I'm like,
I haven't even seen it.
I don't
I know it's a
need
great
it.
shirt.
I don't need it. I won't wear this. I actually prefer wearing hand-me-downs, and I'm lucky because that doesn't cost
He's
a lot.
thrifty.
Yeah. But like, it's just because I don't need it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess the things that, well, in the aspect with clothes, it's different because sometimes you need clothes to like, people think they need clothes to impress people or make friends or stuff like that. And I'm lucky I haven't felt that way. Like, I don't feel like I need to buy this expensive shirt to get this girl or something like that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that still exists. pretty
Definitely
heavily.
exists. And
What the fuck
it's like,
is that?
oh, he has the nicest Jordans. I want to get with this guy because
Where the
it
fuck did that come from?
because it does work sometimes.
Oh, for sure. No, it
Yes.
works a lot.
Yes.
It works
Yes.
quite a bit. So
Well,
like, what the fuck?
It's just
man?
a physical show of I have money,
Yeah.
right? And people are attracted to successful people
Yeah.
because, you know, when everyone was started at square one, truly it meant
Yeah.
you have good work ethic, you're a good person, ideally, hopefully, you work hard. I want to be with someone who's successful and like not just a loser, right? But nowadays, you could have the fucking newest Yeezys just because your dad bought them. That doesn't mean shit to me. I used to hate people. I bet it happened at your college campus too. When I see someone at a college campus with like a Ferrari flexing their nicest car, we used to have this, this parking in front of our building. There was like 10 parking spots in front and like 500 in the back.
Yeah.
The price for like a week in the front is the price of the year to park in the back. But these kids would pay for their spot and park their Porsche that their dad bought them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not impressive to me.
Yeah.
I don't care that you have this nice car that your dad bought you. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a flex. You're in college. I know you don't have a job that pays that much. You didn't do it on your own. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not a flex to me, but I guess it works sometimes. But to me, it was like, that's what? But if you did it on your own, more or less,
Yeah.
and it's your real money, you can flex that. That's fine. And then you're telling people like, hey, I worked really hard. This is what I got. And it's a way to show it. I just have never felt the need to like really show that off so hard.
There was that kid in LA that killed someone in his dad's Ferrari.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he killed like a 32-year-old woman. From what I saw, I just read headlines, but I'm pretty sure this is all true. Like it was
Sure.
everywhere.
If not, it's probably happened another time.
Oh yeah, but no, this one's definitely like, this is one of those stories where it's like kind of all you need is the headline, and you're like, oh yeah, that happened.
Probably.
Yeah, straight up. Apparently he was unlicensed as well. He was
Course,
unlicensed,
of course.
17, driving a Lambo, going
'Cause rules don't
astronomical
apply to
speeds.
him.
Yeah, astronomical speeds, and fucking killed a 32-year-old woman.
It's the end of his life and end of theirs, unfortunately. It's
Yeah,
just like,
nuts.
I don't know. You can't be doing that. I think that level of like spoiledness is like so dangerous. I think being spoiled is one of the most
As an
dangerous
observation,
things.
do you think we're like our generation? Do you think we're a little spoiled? Because
Yes.
old money is more common now. Like it's
Yes.
harder for our generation to kind of get tapped in
Totally.
to the money bank without inheriting some of it somehow or in
Yeah,
one way or another.
yeah,
Whether
yeah.
that's your upper middle class kicking you what they can, or your really rich parents kicking you trust funds.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, a lot of money in our age grouping
Climbing
is coming
the
from above.
socioeconomical ladder is very difficult today.
Yeah.
You can pretty much only go up one rung.
Yeah.
Right, for the most part.
Yeah.
In my case, it was like my parents didn't go to college. I got to go to college.
Yeah.
Cool. That's dope. But of course, it mixes with spoiled and privilege, right? We're spoiled in the fact that we're white, and right, you know what I mean, like something like that.
I think as I'll take that one step further, just not applying it. I think we are the most spoiled generation of people to ever live on the planet, as far as we're concerned.
We should be.
We're like on mass scales. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Because
oppression exists. We both agree with
but
that.
the quality of
like that.
living,
The quality of life
in a
right now
total
nowadays
has been moved up.
so like by fucking miles for
Totally.
basically, you know, the large majority of people on the planet.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Everyone, if you were the same person 100 years ago, shit would be worse
100%.
for sure.
It would be
No matter who you are,
so much worse.
shit would be worse.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's a fact.
No matter
But,
what socioeconomic rung you're on.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shit's fucking worse.
If you were like a average rich guy
yeah.
now or 100 years ago, shit's still worse 100 years ago. You're probably richer now than you would have
Yeah.
been. And that's why we are spoiled. But I think that's a kind of good thing. People say that's why we have things like anxiety and depression becoming more prevalent, because we can worry about other issues. Before we were worried about surviving and making money. Now we have time to worry about other things, which causes more problems. But when you compare those problems to prior ones, I don't like to compare struggles. I say this a bunch, but like it's kind of better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're worried about like my children are starving, or like, man, I'm kind of sad today, like both are ass, both suck, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing around that. But we've just moved to this next level, and there's always going to be problems. We will create problems. It's human nature.
Well, actually, sorry to interrupt so
No, go
bluntly
ahead.
there, but that is very true. Actually, there's a lot of different sources that I've been seeing lately to talk about that as a problem. There was a philosopher who I also just posted on my Instagram story the other day, who was less known than Freud, but still pretty famous.
Sure.
Maybe we'll include the name some other time. I'm sorry. A lot of the names up here.
Yeah. Whatever.
But, he was basically
A
saying
guy.
like, we need more psychology because the only danger to mankind is mankind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
That's actually-
humankind. Sorry. Yeah.
When I spoke-
non-pronoun way. Humankind. The only danger to humankind is humans and
Yes.
the human mind. Like, it's the only way that we can really fuck ourselves up right now. Of course, aside from a couple freak things in space.
Sure.
Like, you know,
but like we've moved past the I'm worried about lions and tigers and bears.
yeah.
As simple as that is.
Yeah.
You didn't have time to be depressed back then, right? It doesn't mean that being depressed now doesn't suck and it's an awful thing and like we need to, that's a crisis in this country.
Yeah.
It's just those issues, there were other issues in the way that were more prevalent at the moment.
Yeah, and there are still now, but they're
Yes,
they're still man-made, so the theory still applies. Like there's shit that we need to be, honestly, hot take, fuck it. There's shit that we need to be a little bit more worried about. Like mental illness is a huge problem in this country that needs a ton
Massive.
more funding. But globally, as the human race, there's I would disagree with that philosopher where it's like it's human caused, but we don't need to focus on the human mind too much. Now we need to, we're at a point where we develop too fast to where we need to focus some of the attention on shit that we fucked up already so badly.
Totally.
It's like, the environment is a huge one for me. It's just like, dude, like we need to focus on that a lot of money and resource and thinkers need to go towards that.
But everyone has different perspectives. If you're just trying to make money and survive and get out the hood or whatever it is, who gives a fuck about the environment, dude? I'm just trying to make money and make my life and my family better.
Yeah.
It's all different. Michael Che has a great bit, and I'm going to butcher it, and forgive me. I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but he has this great bit where he says, you know, it's a great thing. America's progressing. Black people just got anxiety this year.
Yeah.
And like that sounds fucked up.
I think he said autism. I think the
he
bit
goes
is
through a
autism.
couple.
Yeah.
He goes through
does?
autism,
Okay.
anxiety, a bunch of depression.
Gotcha.
But the whole point of the
Hilarious.
bit is that black people in this country have had to worry about so many more things.
Yeah.
Right? That they didn't have the chance to worry about,
Yeah.
oh, I'm anxious right now or whatever. You know what I mean? Because there were so many more pressing issues. And he's like, yo, some of us got to the point where we can worry about other things, you know? And that's fucked up that it took this long to let them have the same worries that white people have, right?
Yeah.
In this case. But it's just the whole idea of that we're all moving up and now get these new issues, hopefully. And you're right. We shouldn't have to have people worrying about just eating food and stuff like that. Environment's, I think, a different thing because that's like plaguing the whole country as a whole, not an individualistic thing.
I think it's plaguing the world.
We don't feel it on an everyday.
world.
We don't feel it on an everyday basis, though.
Yeah, no, we don't hear.
We will eventually.
Yeah.
We will soon.
We don't hear
But
yet. India.
that's
feels
why
it.
people-
India feels it already.
Yeah, but that's why people don't see it like that because they have more pressing issues, right? If you're just trying to put food on your table,
Yeah.
and that means with a plastic knife and fork and styrofoam plates,
Yeah.
that's what you got to do. It's what you got to do. And I will never, ever tell anyone that they can't do that.
But like, fuck, man. So then what needs to change? We can start focusing on that shit.
I don't blame that individual. I blame the powers that be
That philosopher
for
was
putting it
right.
there.
Humans. He was saying this. He was saying this way back in the day. And Saad also has a point as to what you were touching on earlier. I will do a call back to just like problems are always created in our own head. There's
Sure.
a mental aspect to this too. But
Always.
to conclude this like grander nature, human nature conversation, he was basically just saying like humans are the problem right now, and things have the potential to spiral out of control. And now you and I can sit here and listen to that and be like, okay, yeah, we're at the point now where shit's spiraled a little bit out of control.
Definitely.
And now, even though we have all these problems in our head that should probably be addressed more with like managing emotions and figuring out how our brains work and things
Yeah.
like that, we fuck shit up so badly on the outside world where we can't focus too much on maybe mental health and things like that because we gotta fucking
I see.
put something towards the almost irreparable damage that we've done to our
That's a good
home,
point.
which is the globe.
So a bit
Now.
of a pivot.
Yeah.
Essentially, what you're saying is just that yes, there's these individualistic problems.
Yeah.
But the larger problem of a whole
Yes.
needs to be taken care of first.
Yes, personally, that's yeah. That was a pivot opinion, and those are going to happen frequently.
I will say this: those who have the
Yeah.
ability to worry about the little things,
Yeah.
should be the ones worrying about the big issues.
yeah,
If you grow up and you don't have money and you live in a bad neighborhood and you're just trying to get out, you're allowed to worry about that.
Yeah.
I think you're for sure allowed to worry about that,
Yeah.
right? But if you're the president of the United States or you're a senator and you're an old white dude and you have tons of money, you should be the one worrying about the environment.
it's a good way to put it. Yeah, the people that we vote in and
Yes.
actually are positions
That's what
of
I'm saying.
power
The
need to
power- it's
fucking
not-
care about that shit.
Obviously, it's great if every individual recycles and does the
Yeah.
greatest thing for the environment. I'm all for that.
but it's
if-
not the ones making the
But
change.
if you can't afford, it's like everyone should be vegan. Well, in America, it's expensive to buy vegetables. It's cheaper to eat at McDonald's every day. Maybe not McDonald's, but you know what I mean.
Not anymore. Mickey D's,
It's
bro.
expensive.
What happened, man? Used to be the shit. I used to be able to get my McDoubles for like $1. Do you remember
know,
with the
I know.
dollar menu?
Taco
Do
Bell
they still
life.
have the dollar menu?
They do, but it's crap.
way worse now,
Yeah,
right?
Taco
It
Bell's
used
got
to
the
be
best
way
dollar
better.
menu.
Taco Bell.
Sidebar: go to Taco Bell if you need some cheap food.
Yeah.
Or Del Taco. Fuck Del Taco. But the point is kind of that like those who, like you're saying, can have the luxury to worry about those things.
Yeah.
Should be the ones handling it, and that's
Yeah.
why they're the people in power. That's like the whole point.
Yeah. But then all they really care about is keeping the fucking job.
And then, but the issue is they put it on the individuals.
They do.
It's not about that.
They
Like
do.
a classic
You're not
one.
making that much of a difference with your recycling bin. It's really not.
I wish it's helping. If
It's
everyone
helping
did it, it helped.
a little bit though. Just
It's like
a little
this,
bit.
It's the same thing with voting, right? You're like,
Yeah.
my vote doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
if everyone thought that, it wouldn't work, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But
true.
I'll say this. This is an easy one, right? They did a plastic straw ban in the Bay Area where we lived. So there's no more plastic straws.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to help the environment, which I'm for. But the plastic straws are 0.0001% of all the plastic in the world.
Wrong issue, Bay Area. Wrong issue.
But it's not. But that's all they could do. We need a federal
Is that all
level.
they could do?
Okay,
Is that all Mr. Newsom could do?
not Newsom. This is a this is like a county. This is like a county city thing.
That's right. I forget.
So I'm saying
you can still get plastic straws down here in
we
Southern California.
we need to go higher up. I would say a federally mandated.
Who's the mayor of San Francisco?
Companies can't just dump trash into the water, and
Yeah.
companies can't use all this plastic, and then we could cut down emissions by
Yeah.
a ton. You know, people are trying to. California, Gavin Newsom does a thing where we want no more gas vehicles in the state after a certain amount of years.
Yeah.
That's more what I'm talking about. I don't want
Do you think was Alex Jones right on that Rogan when he said that electric cars burn a lot of coal?
well, So yes. So the reason why though is because how do we generate electricity?
Through the burning
Electricity.
of coal?
A lot of states and a lot of countries burn coal to produce electricity. There's many ways to produce power. You could do solar panel, you could do blah, 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 you could do whatever.
Yeah.
The issue with gas cars is the only way to run a gas car is to burn gas. The only way to run an electric car is to use electricity. We get electricity through A, B, C, D, E, F, right? There's a million ways. Nuclear power, wind, solar,
Yeah.
burning coal.
Yeah.
The issue is a lot of states still use burning coal in a lot of countries as the main reason to get electricity. So essentially just moving it one chain down the line.
Gotcha.
The real fix is we get more of our electricity from wind, solar. Nuclear is a little iffy, but we don't need to go into that.
Nuclear is super iffy. We could go into a future episode, maybe.
Another episode we'll talk about nuclear energy.
Shit's nuts, dude. Shit's fucking nuts.
I'm for it with the right systems in
I
place.
also think we have means of storage. I know everyone's scared.
It's
because
happening.
Meltdown sucks, but
It's happening today,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
So there is a way to do it. Obviously, it's not
Yeah.
Chernobyl every day, right?
I think solar panels might be my uneducated opinion.
Solar,
is that
they're great.
Solar panels seem like the most logical.
They're great,
way
but
to
they
do
don't
it.
make as much energy as a coal plant, and that's why people want to keep coal and they want to keep fracking and they want to get oil because oil is more efficient money wise. But the point is, those greater powers that be should be the ones fixing these issues. As an individual, I can't stop a coal plant. If every person in my city, if every person in Alameda where we grew up stopped using plastic straws versus we shut down one coal plant and we replace it with solar energy, fucking I'll use plastic straws all day if I can shut down the coal plant. Like there's no comparison. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
And like I just hate the kind of like I guess you could almost consider it virtue signaling on the highest level where it's like, oh, we'll give you this to make it look like oh, we banned plastic straws. We love the environment, but we'll leave the coal plant open. And racially, it'll be like, we named this Martin Luther King Drive, but we're going to still put black men in jail at increasing rates. They give you something to make you feel like, yeah, we're on your side, we're helping, but it doesn't really make a difference. It just shows like, oh yeah, look, we like you guys, but we won't make the big change because that costs money and the people who pay us don't like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't like we'll do this one little thing that just looks good and we'll ignore the big problem. Because go ahead, ban our plastic straws. You're right. It's a step in the right direction, but don't do it and be like, I love the environment, but then be like, we should keep fracking. We should keep burning coal. Like that's stupid. Like how are you going to do one and say the other's okay? It's just to make the people be happy and think that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky.
Yeah.
And it's like it's very, I don't know, it's devious in a way. But
Hop on it, motherfuckers. That is the most pressing man-made issue. Back to that man-made problems and stuff. I'll take this to the personal extent now. But seriously, we got a globe to fix, man. Like I don't think that anyone who doesn't believe that we have something to do with this. Look at the fucking freeway. Like just look at the freeway and be like, something's got to change.
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Let us know what you want to hear next. We got new episodes every Monday. We're going to drop some bonus ones coming up soon. Stay tuned on the socials, and we'll see you guys very soon.
Peace.
Woo.